Why do the stories that we tell matter?
They matter because essentially they shape the world. They condition us to believe that it is, according to the stories we're telling ourselves and telling others, this is the way it is. And when we begin to realize that a lot of that is neither true nor false, it's simply a point of view, this is where story steps in and says, you can only change who and what you are and what you think by beginning to examine the stories you're telling over and over and over again. Are you telling the story that angers you over and over and over again? Why you want to blame that or hate that over and over and over again? If you think of that as a type of prayer or mantra, something that is repeated over and over again, it might be expressing, I don't like that, but the very fact that I don't like that is the thing that draws the energy. And so story, and this is why I've spent a lifetime with myth and archetype and religion and folklore and occultism, all of these different questions, symbolism, about how do we tell a story that frees us to the same degree that, let's say, a piano frees us. We trust that there's an instrument that if we learn about, it'll begin to free our particular music. And this is the question about the story we tell ourselves. And this is why a lot of story has to do with, can you give yourself permission to write a different ending? Can you give yourself permission to see the world a bit differently? Because in that permission is like a crack in the egg. It lets the light in. We're able to let in something that might just expand our perception and hold a new perception. But not by having been angry or being against something, but actually like a gardener cultivating something, planting an idea. And that's what happened in my life now with my art, is that I didn't illustrate anything. I didn't tell a story that was to say this is what it is. Rather that I use story as a way in to ask questions. And I found that once that key opens, we are more like we're in a library than in a single volume. We're able to step back and see that the story doesn't just need us to contain it, but actually to trust that we contain our story. And so, a bit like taking a book off the shelf, we can expand what we think or what we consider, and we're not going to be lost in it. We're going to have a greater enrichment of our experience of being human, and we'll find ourselves far more tolerant of others. In fact, far more interested in others, because we won't look for them to be like us. We'll realize they're a unique story. And maybe if we ask questions, that story can teach us things about being human we could never imagine. And this is when we start to, almost like in the ancient times of sitting around a campfire, we start to say, and what do you think? Tell me about life through your eyes. Tell me your story. Tell me your book in the library. Tell me your art, your dreams. Because if we share these things, we also honor these things. And what we honor likes to spend time with us. And what we dishonor doesn't really like us very much. And we end up not liking ourselves very much. And that's how we know that maybe we should ask different questions and begin to tell different stories.